Hi, everyone. Hi, and welcome to this special Reclaim the Frame screening of The Drover's Wife, The Legend of Molly Johnson, directed by Leah Purcell and based on a screenplay by Leah Purcell. My name is Melanie. I'm the director of Bird's Eye View. We're a UK-wide charity with a mission to bring a wider perspective of the world through cinema, and particularly a depatriarchized, decolonized perspective of the world. We do that through championing women and non-binary filmmakers and building a community for those who make, show, release, and watch films by women and non-binary filmmakers. It's a great privilege at Bird's Eye View to be supporting this stunning epic that you're about to watch this evening, The Drover's Wife, and my great pleasure to introduce you to the powerhouse behind it, writer, director, and actor Leah Purcell. Hi, Leah.
Hi, Melanie. Thank you. Happy to be here, and thanks for the invitation.
So, Leah, you've been working on bringing this story to life in a number of different ways and over a number of years. I wonder if you could just tell us a bit first about the source material, about what it means to you, and also your approach to adapting it in ways that are more inclusive of a feminist and Indigenous experience and perspective.
The film, The Drover's Wife, The Legend of Molly Johnson, started out as a play. But before I got to writing the play, my mother had the book of Henry Lawson's short stories. He would write about living in Australia in all sort of societies, the outback through to the city. I'm not sure why my mum was a fan. Unfortunately, she passed away before I was old enough to sort of say why Henry Lawson. But when I was a little girl growing up, she would read or recite to me The Drover's Wife. And it was just me and my mum. I am the youngest of 7, but I was the little boy in Henry Lawson's story who was my mother's protector. My mother was the drover's wife on 2 levels. We actually come from a droving family. My great-grandmother was a drover. My grandfather was a drover, and she drove with him. There was a family of 7 girls, and they're all horsewomen. So we grew up around horses. I connected to it because I think it was the first time as a 5-year-old that I used my imagination and put myself in the story. Even though it was a fantasy, when I looked at it, I saw my everyday life. And the story stayed with me. It was one of the only things that I took after my mother passed away, her little book of Henry Lawson, and it sat with me for nearly 40 years. And then in 2006, I was doing the film Jindabyne, directed by Ray Lawrence, up in Jindabyne. And on weekends, I would go for a walk around the countryside, and I'd go, this is just amazing. And I just said, we need to do something here. So we went up to Mount Kosciuszko, and a wonderful lookout, and this is true. I stood up on top of this mountain and I went, I love this landscape. I'm coming back, and I think I'm going to do a film, and it's The Drover's Wife, and I'm going to be in it. And it echoed around the mountain range. That was in 2006. And then 2019, I am on the opposite range, singing out action and cut. So be careful what you put out there. So it was just a beautiful circle of coming back to the amazing landscape and you know, just utilizing that in the film. And a lot of people have spoken to me and said that the landscape itself is a character. We were gifted with rain, and we were gifted with 100-mile-per-hour winds that looked like the production was, you know, an $80 million set with all these electric fans around. And there was a bit of snow, and it was just an amazing experience. And there's also cultural elements within the frames. You'll see this mist rising from the valley. And when I was talking to the elders, and she said, well, that is normally, that was the signal back in the day, for when the people were up in the high country, if they saw that mist rise, that was a warning that winter was coming, and they'd come down and head further north for the winter. So I loved learning that as I went, and was so blessed that we were given that opportunity, because my time-lapse director who was out there called me and he said, Leah, I don't know who you pray to, but whoever it is, it's amazing. I've got this dancing mist. He says, normally it rises, a wind comes and pushes it on. He said, it's sitting here in this valley for 3 hours just performing for me. So, you know, we've got to say thanks to the ancestors for the gift that we got from the landscape.
Oh, I love the idea of the elements performing in front of the camera. That's wonderful. Yeah. So, Leah, you've been living and breathing this material for so many years, and having now the chance to adapt it once again from stage to screen and playing the legend of Molly Johnson yourself. Can you tell us what it means to you to be finally bringing your adaptation of this story to a cinema audience here in the UK, but also around the world?
It's out of this world. Like, I'm a little girl. I grew up in the bush with an Aboriginal mother, sole parent. We didn't have much. And how dare I dream that I'm going to be releasing a film in 2022 to the world. It's a definite pinch me moment. You know, I was an average student at school, and, you know, people in the bush, you were either going to work at the meatworks or become a nurse. That was your highest qualifications. And, you know, this is, for me, is a dreaming story. As an Aboriginal person, that means a journey we share. And that's us sharing this moment right now. And I say to my audience, this is my gift to you. And the UK has history in our country, Australia, especially with the Indigenous people. It wasn't all great, but it's about understanding, acknowledging those times so we can all move forward. And as an Indigenous woman, it's imperative that I be the truth teller, because our history is not taught truthfully in Australia. You know, the film allows that, with my Trojan horse of The Drover's Wife from Henry Lawson. But what we've done is I've reimagined it and placed my Indigenous family's history. One of the characters, Yadika, that you meet is based on my great-grandfather. And it's almost word verbatim what Stockman say to him from the diaries that white superiors of the time wrote about. I wove those intricate stories of my family through it, so it had a base of truth. I want this film to open up conversations. You know, when I go and see a film, I want to be emotionally stimulated, intelligently stimulated. So, and that brings about conversation. And that's what I hope that the audience takes away, that this film sits with them.
Leah, thank you so much for this film, for this shared dream, and thank you for your truth. This film is, I mean, it's already sparking incredible conversations. So thank you so much. Thank you for speaking with us.
Thank you.